For this evidence pair, we aren't really going to be able to use the chronology rule to help us because all of the line references kind of follow what the last question was about. So, and this is the last question of the passage, so we can't really go to the next question and see what's going on. So we're just going to need to read everything, and that's okay. We'll just be methodical about what we're doing and make sure we follow the QLC method so we don't get lost in all this weird text. And I think here it really helps us focus on the right stuff. Start with the question. What are we reading for? What's going to be our purpose as we look through these lines? In the passage, Smith most strongly suggests that slavery affects the United States by. Okay, it's about the country and slavery. Let's look. Now we go to the lines, the L. Which choice provides the best evidence? Okay, 48 to 50. Right here at the beginning. 48 to 50. Will it be easy to convince them that it is no concern of theirs, that their homes are rendered desolate and their habitations the abodes of wretchedness? Well, here's a lot of case. There's a big case where I want to read a little extra beyond the lines because there's a pronoun that appears in a lot of places, right? Will it be easy to convince them that it is of no concern of theirs, their homes. Who are we talking about here? Well, the previous line really gives it away. Will the mother, wife, daughter, and sister feel that they have no interest in this subject? The subject being slavery. So, well, it's definitely about slavery, but it's not really about the country per se. It's about women, and that's not exactly what we were asked. So this choice doesn't feel like it matches. I would cross this out. 59 to 61. That is here. May we not permit a thought to stray beyond the narrow limits of our own family circle and of the present hour. Well, that just seems completely random. I guess they're still talking about women, but it's definitely not about the country. Doesn't seem related at all. C, 68 to 73. All right, kind of long. Shall we silently behold the land which we love, probably the United States, with all the heart-warm affection of children, rendered hissing and a reproach throughout the world by this system which is already tolling the death bell of her decrease among the nations? Okay, so world hates us, right? Like, it's clearly talking about the country, the United States, and then it's hissing, reproach, death bell, decrease. These are all negative words. You don't need to understand exactly what she's saying to know that this is bad for the United States, and it's the world that thinks it's bad, thinks we're bad, right? I mean, that is enough to get out of this. That's all we need for now. 73 to 77, choice D. Just the next few lines, okay. Ugh. Actually, let's do a different color so we don't get confused. 73 and 73, D. No, the events of the last 2 years have cast their dark shadows before, overclouding the bright prospects of the future and shrouding the destinies of our country in more than midnight gloom, and we cannot remain inactive. So this would be bad for the future, right? Destiny. So C and D both seem like they might work. I would keep them in. Let's see what we get from the choices now. So this is the QLC method because we look at these choices last, after we've gotten a sense of what the lines mean and how they relate to the question. And it's very common that we don't get down to one line reference. That's very important. Most of the time I have 2 or 3 that I'm considering as now I go to the questions and try to understand a little bit better what all matches. So A, it lowering the country's reputation in the international community. Well, that seems to match with line reference C. Right? Lowering the reputation, that's bad. And it talks about the international community. We said that that choice was about the world, so that seems to match. Let's just make sure there's nothing better. Leading many women to disavow their allegiance to the country. No, I definitely didn't read that. Most of what I read about women in the country was saying that the women love their country, and that's kind of what's motivating them. So that disavowing their allegiance means they say they hate America. They're not doing that. C, causing violent conflicts in many areas of the country. Well, that happened, but it's not in these lines. So we cannot answer based on our own knowledge of history. We have to answer based on the lines. That's just not there. D, weakening the authority of the country's government. Well, no, that probably also happened, but Yeah, they don't talk about the government. And so that's the thing is choice D, or line reference D rather, it does answer the question. Like, it's not a wrong line reference. But this is why we kind of want to hesitate when we are doing that question 42, and just make sure we've got a match in number 41 before we pick our answers, because there might be multiple line references that work, but only one of them will have a match in the actual question 41. So I'm confident that choice A matches with line reference C, and that those answer the question together, right? We're always trying to find a pair of answers that work together to answer the question. It's not enough for the one line reference to be right in one way and one of the choices to be right in a completely different way. They need to be right in the same way. They have to line up. That's what some people forget, and that's why the QLC method can be so helpful. It kind of forces you to keep that all in order. And yeah, we're jumping around a lot in a confusing way, but in a better, more important way, we're keeping the ideas together. They belong together, and that's letting us make this triple match between the question, the line reference, and the choice. So I really recommend you have a strong process that you follow no matter what, so that when it's easy or hard, you're still doing the same kind of thing.